So now if you simplify this, what will you get? V is nothing but V sat into some factor, and let me call this factor equal to lambda, unsymmetric. So lambda times V sat is equal to minus V sat into lambda plus 1 plus lambda into V sat into 1 minus e to the power of minus T1 by RC. V sat goes off. Okay, so it is a function of this, and then you can write down from this equation what is the value of T1, and T1 comes out to be, just to simplify this, is equal to RC times log I think 1 by 1 minus lambda. Let us do that. Let me look at my notes. Instead of wasting my time. I don't know where I wrote it. Now 1 plus lambda by 1 minus lambda. I simplify this, I mean, just becomes 2 lambda here, 2 lambda divided by 1 plus lambda and 1 minus that. So that is how it becomes 1 minus lambda by 1 plus lambda. Then in inverse, because of the minus sign there, log inverse, so it comes out to be this equation. And if you go through the same exercise for this curve, which is starting from V at initial condition and moving towards V minus V sat, but at t is equal to T2, this value is equal to minus V. Exactly same equation comes out with except the signs are changed, and you will get the second T2 is also equal to same symmetric. So the total time period for this oscillator T is equal to 2 times RC into log 1 plus lambda by 1 minus lambda. So 1 by T is equal to frequency. So F is equal to 1 by T. And since T1 is equal to T2, is a square pulse, square wave, this duration is same as this duration. So it is square wave generator by using this. Okay. If you want to make a pulse generator, what is your solution? I don't want a square wave, let us say. I want to have a pulse at T1 and some T1 and some T2, which is not equal. One time is decided by this point on the curve. Another time is decided by this point on the curve. In our case, the magnitude of both of them are same when you make reference is equal to 0. That is why T1 became equal to T2. If I can separate these two, that is magnitude of positive side is not same as the magnitude of negative side, and then I will get T1 different from T2. How do I do that? By simply putting a proper value of reference here, I can change VA and VB. So if I can put a reference here of appropriate value, I can control this T1 and T2. They will not be equal in that case if there is some value of reference. So I can choose the reference to separate out this to be a different value and this to be a different value, in which case T1 will not be same as T2. So I can make a pulse generator by this technique instead of a square wave generator. Okay. And then the time period you have control of R, C, whether T1, T2 are both equal, it will have an RC relationship because that is charging characteristic, and also depends upon the lambdas, which is the ratio of this two resistors, right, R1 by R1 plus R2. So you have a lot of freedom in choosing various parameters, lambda and your V reference and your value of RC to generate a. Normally we do not want to change this lambda because the prefixed resistors I do not want to change them. So this is kept constant. So to change the T, either T1, T2 or a square wave, you only change the value of resistances and capacitance and the reference here externally. So this is a Schmitt trigger which is used for generating waveforms which are non-sinusoidal waveform. In the last class I must have mentioned to you how to convert a sine wave into a approximate square wave. I call it a Pullman square wave, or everybody calls it Pullman square wave, which is not a too good a square wave because it is not exactly equal durations, almost equal, but this is a, also the slope of that is not vertical, it is almost vertical slope for the transitions. So this is a much better pulse generator or a square wave generator compared to clipping the sine wave as we did in the last class using a comparator. And in terms of the cost of this is almost the same, so it does not matter. So this is the greatest advantage of the Schmitt trigger to generate waveforms. In literature, the sine wave generators are called generally oscillators, but those which are non-sine wave, there is a name which people normally use. Of course, they say square wave generator, pulse generator and so on and so forth, but the whole class of non-sinusoidal waveforms are what people call as relaxation oscillators. So all those non-sinusoidal sources are the class of oscillators called the relaxation oscillators. So the Schmitt trigger can be used as a relaxation oscillator to produce either a pulse waveform or a square waveform. Okay. If you look at this carefully, the timings have been decided by the voltage here, right, and the voltage in this case is generated by this charging of resistors and capacitor. I could have, for example, this is still not required. Take this Schmitt trigger, and if I can somehow apply like this a triangular wave, same thing would have happened, and at appropriate values of, when this reaches V, then it will trigger, when reaches minus V, it will trigger. So as long as this amplitude of this corresponds to this V is here, the same triggering action will take place. In the previous case, the triggering action was due to a waveform which is exponentially growing, but the exponential growth is irrelevant to us. Only thing is starts from some value and goes to that value, and the time it took to do that was equal to T1 or T2. And in this case, this is a naturally given waveform, and it may be linear slope, doesn't matter. Then if this waveform is fed to this, then automatically this will do the same trick.